Hello. Yeah, hi. Good evening to all of you. Hi, Rama. Rama, I'm seeing you. I think you're not there in the yesterday session, right? Hi, Radhika. Hi, Ashwar. Hi, Karan.
Yes, Amit, I was not well yesterday.
Oh, I hope everything is fine now.
Yeah, I'm good now. Yeah.
Okay. So just give me a minute. Let me just 1 minute. So, everyone, I'm just sharing a file with you all. It's a small, right? So, like all the things that we have done. So, we'll just try to, walk through those things over here. So, just give me 1 second. I'm just sharing that file. Over here only I'll do it. Yep, everyone. So I've shared a file with you over here. So I'll just request all of you to please open this up. I I hope you all are able to access this file. Okay, great. So please open this up, right? So this is just a quick stuff, right? So like all the things that we have done. So I just want all of you to just have a look at it, right? So basically, if you will see, it is saying that how we can create a function, right? So we have a small this example of that, right? So display list, you do it, right? If you want to have some take an input from the user, so how you can do that, right? So we have an input function for that, right? So when you say input, so it gives, like, if you remember, we discussed this thing in one of the previous sessions as well. So just walk through these questions once and just try to let me know that if you are able to understand them, or if you have any questions on these that you might not be able to try or something like this.
Amit, what should I open this file with?
I mean, Python only. This is the Python file.
But it's not opening directly, it's opening in Word Notepad for me.
No, no. So what you do is, like, can you share your screen?
Yeah. This is the file.
Yeah. See, and if you will go over there on your Python, the Jupyter one, just open the Jupyter notebook. And just go to the home page, the previous window.
The anaconda.
No, no, this one, home page. So basically, from here, what you do is, where have you created that folder? Now in the Python over here, so click on the class files. Now open it.
Okay. Thank you.
right? So I just want you all, right? I hope you all are able to open it up in the Python. And you still facing any challenge? Right? So just the idea is that you just walk through it and just try these questions and just read the code that okay, if you want to check the type, integers, right? You want to convert something. So this is just I don't want you to spend a lot of time. Just a quick walk through it, and if there is anything that you feel that you need uh, some understanding from me, you can please let me know that. Plus, anything you would like to ask or discuss? Okay. So see, what we can do is we can all just keep this and just try to run all these commands. And these are some, see, we are just making some functions over here. So just try them, right? So do not, write the code by yourself. And in case if you feel that there is some you're not able to make it or you need some help, so you can definitely refer to the solutions also. We can discuss them in the classes. So if you still get any choice, if you still get any error in that, right? So it has all the loops that we discussed, all the if conditions, the functions that we talked about. So it has a good quality of questions for each and everything, right? So what I'll also do is I'll also upload this file on the classroom as well in case you like to, I mean, have all the stuff over there. Okay. So with that today, what we are going to do over here is now we have, seen or we have covered the basic part of the basic programming of the Python, I would say, right? Now this is where now what will happen is the journey for the data science is going to start, right? So up till now we haven't done much, or I would say rather anything in the Python which was related to the data science. We're trying to understand how the coding and everything is done. So what we are going to start off as the first part over here is we are going to start off with the part which is called as packages. Okay, so basically what happens is like Python is all about packages. You will find thousands of packages which are available on, which are available in the Python community, which are used for different tasks. Now the question that comes to your mind is what are packages? Right? So now packages, if I try to explain you in a very layman's term, it is as good as like, what happens is that you go for some, like when you buy a, when you say, you want to go on a vacation. So you buy a package, right? So in the package, what they do is they give you everything, right? You just have to pay it. And then what will happen is they will say, okay, uh, they will say that okay, you buy this package, now you have a, your transfers are also included, your hotel stay is included, your sightseeing is including, your fooding is included. They give you each and everything, right? The type of package you pick. If you say that, I want to pick a package which is a normal one, they will give you all the normal facilities. You say I want to have a premium one, they will give you all the premium facilities. So that is what a package is, right? Where you get all the things, included in one single thing. So same way in Python also, what we have is we have a lot of packages, right? Like if you want to do some linear algebra, right? If you want to work with linear algebra, we have a package called NumPy, right? NumPy stands for numerical Python. Okay, numbers, py Python, right? If you want to make some visualizations, right? So you have the packages with you, which are like Matplotlib, right? You have the package like Seaborn. So these are the packages that you're going to find for visualizations, right? Similarly, you want to upload the data sets, you want to make data sets, you have pandas. Now the good thing is because these packages are already there, it helps you in writing the minimal code because these packages have all the things already created. So what you do is you simply install the package, and once the package gets installed, you will start getting all the features and function of the package, and you can straight away start using it. Okay, I hope I'm making sense to all of you. So now what we will do is, if you want to do any numerical related stuff in Python, so for that we are going to start our journey with the package that is NumPy. Okay, so we will see that how we can use this package, and first of all, what we'll have to do is we'll have to install this package over here. So how you can install this is you simply come over here in your home page, right? So you come to your home page from where you open the Python window. Over there you will find terminal, right? Open the terminal, and in this terminal what you need to do is you simply need to write over here conda install numpy. If you already have that installed, you will get a message that requirement already satisfied. So if in case you don't have it, it is going to install all those things for you. So please, this is how you install it. You can say conda install and the name of the package. Right, see now since I already have it, so I get a message all requested packages already installed, so nothing will happen. But in your case it will be installed if you don't have it. Sure, Harshit. So basically you're on the on the home page, correct? From here, from where we open the Python window, you have to open the terminal. The terminal is the main Python engine where you have to, if you have to install something, you have to remove something from the engine, you write a code for that over here. Done. Done. Yep. So when you open this up, so you have to write this command over there as in conda install numpy. And just hit enter and it will be installed. You will do it now. It takes a little while to download and install. So now you know what we are going to do is in the NumPy, we are going to start off with the very basic. The first thing is vectors, right? Vectors is when you want to store the numbers or the data, right? So arrays is the method, or we call it as a NumPy arrays. The way we store the numbers in Python now, right? So now these numbers that we store, the numbers can be stored in one-dimensional array or two-dimensional array, right? So what is an array, right? Array is what is array? Array is a set of numbers, right? When you have to store more than one number, right? Like if you remember, we were storing it in the form of a list, right? So list was in list. What happened is you can store any type of a data, right? You can have numbers also, character also, logical also. But over here, when we are talking about NumPy arrays, it is something that is going to store the numbers. Okay, so array is like set of numbers that we store, which can be stored in a one dimension way or a two dimension. One dimension means right like this, one, two, three, right? In one of the ways, right? Like this. This is one dimension array. And two dimensional array is like the way we store it in the form of an Excel. So you are storing one, two, three, four, and we have the numbers over here, five, six, seven, eight, and nine. And like this is how if you're storing the numbers, this is called as the two dimensional, right? You have the numbers in the rows also and in the columns also. But one dimension is just in one row or in one column or one row. That is called as one dimensional data. Okay. So this is what is called as arrays, which will be an important part once we talk about the numpys over here. So let's get started on this. Okay. Plus, I just need 2 minutes, right? It's just 2 minutes, and then I'll just start. Thank you. So we'll start. So what I'll do is let me open a new file. Okay, we will start right now. So I'll call it as NumPy arrays. So let's get started now, right? So first of all, what happens is I hope the package is, you all have this. The package is installed. Everyone with all of you, the package is installed now. Okay. So what we do is we will be talking about NumPy arrays. Now, when we talk of NumPy arrays, right? So what we do is we simply create the list. Suppose I create a list over here. Let's call it as LST. LST equal to I create a list over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right? So I've written a list. So technically, what we do is when we create a list over here, we convert a normal list only into the form of an array, right? That is the NumPy array. Because NumPy is a package that is going to understand, it is going to, identify all the numbers in the form of an array only. So it's a special type of data structure that NumPy understands. So now what happen is like, we will be learning R also after the Python. And R and Python here, they are quite similar, right? In terms of the way we work and we write the codes. In R also, we will see that, we will be downloading a lot of packages like the way we have done it over here. Just the way will be different, but idea will remain the same. So what happens is when you have a package that is installed, now you also have to import that package. You have to say that import numpy as np. So what I'm doing now is I'm telling Python that okay, I have this package. Now I want to import it. Import as in I'm saying that make that package active. That I would like to use that package over here right now and use its all the features. If you will not import it, the package is installed, but you can't use its functionality. It's like activating it. So you run this command to tell that now you would like to import this, so you would like to use the functionalities of this package. Now what I will do is over here, this list that I have created, I would like to convert this in the form of the array which NumPy identifies. So for that I will say array equal to np dot, there is a function array, and I am saying I would like to convert this over here. So I'm saying this list that I have created, I would like to convert this in the form of a NumPy array. And for doing that, we have a function with us, which is array function. So I'm saying np.array. First, I give the name of my library or the package that was np. So I've imported, it's like, remember in the HQ we were using alias name. So I'm saying import NumPy as np. This is an alias name that I have done. You can give anything. You can give ABC, XYZ, whatever you want. But I would recommend use NP only because these are some standard names that you will find across all the other coding the websites and other projects also. Everyone uses NP as an abbreviation. But if you want to use something else, you are free to do that. So I am now saying I would like to create a variable in which what I have done is I have converted this list into NumPy array. So please do this. And now we will check out how this data looks like. So you see, it's an array now.
Amit, how did you come onto this downloads and NumPy folder?
Sorry?
How did you
How
come into the downloads and NumPy? Because I can't see it in my downloads.
this I've just made this. This I've just saved it. I opened a new file and
Okay.
I've saved it as NumPy arrays.
No, above that, the address, localhost notebooks, downloads, NumPy. So how did you open this? Like, is this a special, different way to open it or just new Python file?
You're talking about this file, right?
Yeah.
I just opened a normal file. So I was on the home page. So I just said that okay, I would like to open a new file, the like we were opening it previously. I open it and I just named it as NumPy arrays. That is what I did.
So why is in the address bar it's giving downloads NumPy arrays?
And now, Radhika, that is because of the file name. It says that
Okay.
num5%.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay, are you also okay? You're referring to this path.
Yeah, she was asking for the path.
I'm asking for the
Oh,
path.
okay. This is the file path that where all these files are being saved.
Oh, okay. Okay.
The localhost means my local machine. This is a notebook which is saved in my downloads folder, and the name of the file is numpy array. So basically, space is being represented by %20, and this is the extension of the file. If I'll come over here in my downloads, so what will now happen over here is I'll be able to see that the file.
Okay.
Right now, if you want to create a matrix, right, like I was telling you that you can have a array or a matrix. If you want to create a matrix over here, so again you will have to follow the technique where you will have to first create a list. So you create my matrix, and let us call it as 1 2 3 comma 4 5 6 comma 7 8 9. Right, so I'm creating this now. Now if you see, I'm trying to create a matrix, right? I'm trying to store the data in this format right now. So for that, what I'll have to do is, if I come over here, again, if I now convert this, suppose I call this as array2, and I'll say array2 is equals to np dot array, and that is my mat. Array. Right? So if you will see now, this is like a matrix that I've stored the numbers.
Amit, why did you write import numpy as np? What was that for?
Sorry, what is the
Input 4, you wrote import numpy as np.
see
Do we
basically
have to
what
write
happened
this
is,
each time? What?
you have to write this time, because what we do is once the package is installed, if you have to use its features, so you have, because there are like 10,000 plus packages that are available in the Python, and it can happen that you might have installed 2 or 3,000 packages installed also on your machine. It can happen, right? So for all the packages, any package that you want to use at any point in time, you have to simply say import the name of that package, so that Python can get to know that okay, now it has to start using the feature of that package. So it will start giving you all the functions and features of the package that you can use. If you will not import it, you will not be able to use these functions like np.array. It will give you that the library is not in use.
And np is a alias name which we have given for this.
This is just an alias name that I've given.
Okay.
Correct. Now, if suppose what I want to do now over here is, we have some built-in functions also built-in. I will call it as methods, because in Python what we do is we call the built-in functions as methods. So if you want to generate numbers over here, right? If you say np dot arrange, now this is a inbuilt function between 0 to 10. It will generate the number. If I say 1 to 10, it will generate and oh, it's single right? If you say np dot arrange, it gives you 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. So it doesn't give you the last number. Remember, this is the same thing that happened in the indexing also when we were using that indexing. So when you say 1 to 10, it gives you numbers only up till 9. So it gives you the numbers from 1 to 9. So it is just a quick way of generating some numbers. You can say np dot range. You want the numbers from 5 to 50 with an interval of 5. So you can do that, right? 5, 10, 15, 20, 50, 25. So starting number, ending number, and in the middle you have given an increment, that how that sequence of numbers should be generated. So quick some functions that you can use. Okay. Now similarly, right, you have a function called zeros. If you just want to generate some zeros, right? So you have a function over here zeros. So let's try that. If I say np dot zeros and you want to generate 5 zeros, it will give you 5 zeros over here, right? If you say np dot zeros and you say 5 comma 5, it will give you a over here, right? So it will give you 5 comma 5, a matrix, right? So 5 zeros, 5 rows of that.
Amit, why we are getting a period after 0, Amit?
So this is just the way it showcases the numbers. I mean, as in, so it's like like floating numbers and decimal numbers that we have. So it's just showing them as one dot, that the numbers are probably like the floating, but it is just going that it is just showing that zero to us,
Okay.
not the decimal part. Similarly, we have a function of ones also, right? If you say np dot ones, it will give you only one. Suppose if I want to generate 5 ones, so see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you say np dot ones and you want to generate 3 comma 3 or 5 comma 5, so 5 ones like this. Okay. So similarly, we have a function of linspace. So now this is a function. It generates this. Now this linspace is, it returns evenly spaced numbers. It generates evenly spaced numbers over a given interval. So what do I mean by that is, see, like in the sequence, like over above, when I was using this function, right, arrange, what that arrange was doing, in that arrange, what I did was I said that, okay, I am saying that I want to have the numbers between 1 to 10, or I want to have the numbers between 5 to 50 with a spacing or a jump of 5. But in the lens space, just a little bit of a different thing. So if you say linspace over here, right? So np dot linspace, np dot linspace, and now if you say that you want to generate between 1 to 5, you want to generate 30 numbers. So now I'm saying within a range of 1 to 5, now I'm telling the how many numbers that I want. So if I say I want 30 numbers, it will generate evenly distributed 30 numbers between that range that I have given. Right? Between 1 to 5, it gives me 30 numbers over here. So you see now, like Rama, like Radhika, you asked the question, one dot. So if you see one dot, when it is zero, nothing is coming. And when it's a decimal part, so it shows that 1.13719. So zero, it doesn't shows after that decimal part. Okay.
Just means that it's not having any value after decimal. So it's just that whole number.
This is a whole.
Yeah.
So linspace, I hope makes sense. Like it is for defining the number of defining the how many numbers you want. Like 1 to, if you say between 10 to 50, you want 30 numbers, it will generate between that. So this is how it works.
In what scenario will use this linspace command?
Linspace?
Yeah.
See, right now we are just seeing how we generate the data. It's some sort of data. So basically, when we do some analysis and if we will need some data for that, so we can use these functions right away to generate that data for us. So it is just some function that we are exploring. Like if you want to have some data to be generated, so you can use linspace function to have such kind of numbers, or you can use arrange or ones to generate these type of numbers over there. So just exploring some basic functionalities of the NumPy library.
Also, differences in arrange, the last number is not written, not selected. In linspace.
No. See, in arrange, what I'm doing is I'm specifying that the interval, that if I say 5 to 50, that and I write 5 means that I want the numbers at the jump of 5, right? 5, 10, 15. But over here we are specifying how many numbers I want. But yes, your point is that you are saying on that last number is not included. So that is definitely something we included in this linspace, which doesn't come in the arrange.
Oh.
So first and last both are included. Does anyone know what is an identity matrix?
What's it?
Identity matrix.
No.
Right, Rajat. It contains only ones. That is called as an identity matrix, correct. So if I create a matrix like this, right, this is called as an identity matrix. Okay, so which if these are 3x3 matrix, 3 rows, 3 columns, all are ones. So if you want to generate an identity matrix in NumPy, so you can do that. So we have a function of I for that, right? Generate the identity matrix. So for that we have a function called np dot I. If I say 3, it will create 3x3 identity matrix. And if you create 5, it creates 5x3. Okay. Then you have the functions for generating random numbers. Right, you want to just generate any random numbers. So we have a function for that. So if you say that you want to generate some two random numbers, right? So we have np dot random. So random that I'm writing over here. So random has basically NumPy has lot of ways to generate the random numbers. Okay, so like random itself is like a built-in function inside this library, inside this package of NumPy, which gives you a lot more other functionalities, right? So if I say NumPy dot random dot rand, right? So if I say this and I say I want two random numbers, it is going to give me two random numbers, because random in itself is like a function which has a lot of methods, right? It has a lot of functions which we can use. So one such function is rand. So basically what we are doing over here is we are saying that I want to generate two random numbers over here. If you come over here in the random and you say that you want to generate some random numbers, and you say 3 cross 3, see it generates 3 by 3 matrix of random numbers.
It will not give the whole number. Amit?
No, it will not give the whole. It just random decimal numbers. The numbers with decimals. But if you want integers, if you want whole numbers, so we have rand int function for that. So if you say np dot random, so there is inside random there is a function dot rand int. So this will give you integer numbers, the whole numbers that you give. So between, so basically we say you want the integer number between 1 to 100. So it gives any random number. So you have to give a range that you want a random number between this to this.
Okay.
And if you want multiple numbers, you write over here that you want three numbers. So if you put comma 3, so it gives you three numbers in that case, between that list, between that range.
Okay. So if you want 3, 3, 3 by 3,
Line.
like array 3 by 3, like the previous one.
This one.
3
Yeah.
by 3, 3, in bracket instead of 3. So 1, 100, bracket 3, 3.
Okay.
Okay, so you were asking for a matrix that, okay. So you were asking that you want to generate, yeah. So you
Yes.
write that 3, 3. So you're done. Okay, shall I move ahead? So, okay. So now this is random numbers that we have seen, right? So we have seen this random numbers that how we have generated it. Now on this, what we will do is let's move forward. Let's create a small variable and let's say np dot range 25. Right. So what I've done is I have just generated numbers 25 numbers from 0 to 24. Okay. So please make this. We are making an array over here in which we have generated the numbers over here. Now, if you have an array, right? If you want to convert that array into the form of a matrix, right? So this is the array that is given to you. It has 25 numbers inside it. If you want to have, a matrix to be created out of it, so we have a function for that, which is reshape, right? So reshape, what this function will do is it returns an array containing the same data with a new shape. Suppose I have 25 numbers, I want to convert them into 5 cross 5 matrix. So what I will do over here now is I will come over here and I will say array dot reshape. Okay, so this is the variable name, right? This array, I want to reshape this variable and I want to bring this into, suppose, 5 cross 5. So you will see the output now gets converted into 5 by 5 matrix.
Amit, if we give 3 by 3, still it arranges, it reshapes.
Oh, so because in the 3 cross 3 now what happened is the number that you have is, if you see over here, the data is not matching based on that.
Okay.
Right? So you cannot resize it. If you make it 6 by
Okay.
6, again the numbers will be less.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So you have to make it according to
So
the
we
data.
need,
Right?
yeah, okay.
Using the reshape function. So now this way, we have to use reshape function basically. Done? Anyone? So you just create the range function. So basically the same technique. So just wanted you all to make a random array with numbers between 1 to 25, 200 to 250, and then just reshape it into an array over there.
we can't make it as 3 by 3, right?
So you have to generate 9 numbers. So I do 3 by 3 matrix. Right. So if I create array 2 equal to np dot random int numbers that I want to generate between 200 to 250, and I want to generate 9 such numbers. So if you will see, I get those numbers over. Right. Now what I will do is I will say array 2 dot d shape. I want to put into 3 cross 3 matrix. So this is how I get it. Okay. I hope I am clear to all of you. Okay. I know you also have some functions, right? Like max, min, right? So these functions you can try, right? So max, min. So I would like to discuss two functions, max, min, and one is argument max and argument min. So these are the four functions I would like to discuss over here. So what are these functions and why I'm going to learn them? See, suppose I have an array with me. Suppose let's talk about this one. So I create an array. Okay. If you want to find the maximum number, so it's quite obvious, right? You will say max of array 2, you will see the maximum number. If you want to find the minimum number, you will say min of array 2, it gives you minimum number. And there is then two other functions that are max argument and max argument min, right? So that what that does is that gives you, see, when you use max and min, it gives you the maximum and minimum number. What that function is going to do is that is going to give you the index number of that, right? Like for example, this is the array that I have. So what is the maximum number? Maximum number is 242. So that is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. It will be number at 4. So I'm going to say that the argument max of this array 2, it is going to give me the index. Sorry, np I didn't used. So np, right? So this gives me the argument number of that. And this function that I use min over here, min was basically not the numpy function. If you want to use it the numpy way, you will say array dot the max. So if you write like this also, this gives you the maximum number. If you say array dot min, it gives you the minimum number. I hope I'm clear to all of you. Anyone, any questions on this? Okay. So now the next thing that we're going to talk over here is that is about the NumPy indexing and selection. So we'll talk about the indexing over here now. So now what is indexing and what exactly and how we are going to use it? So let's talk about that. Suppose I will create this array. We already have this array that I have created, right? So if you say ARR1, right? So this is how we do the indexing, right? Oh, sorry, ARR So when I say 1, it gives me the number that is at the index number 1, right? So this is how the same way, right? We use it in the list. The same thing happens over here. Nothing new. Just I wanted to touch upon this so that you can understand it, right? If you say array 2, you want to generate the number starting from 0 up till 5. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. You will get all those numbers over here. If you know you want to replace a number, right? Like if you have array 2 and you say the number which is at index number 0, you want to replace it with 1000, right? So you can do that. You see the number at index number 0 is now replaced with 1000. So you can very easily do that over here. Yep. Done. So now how do we do the indexing on the 2D arrays, right? So this is something that we have been indexing in 2D arrays. So for that, first of all, let's create a 2D array, right? So let's create array 2D equal to, I'm going to say np dot array, and let's create one array over here. Let's create this array. So instead of first creating a list and then casting it into an array, I've directly used that np.array function, and I am saying that these are the inputs that I'm giving. So it creates a array right over there. Okay. So first, all of you please create this.
Amit, instead of round bracket, can we use square bracket? Like,
No, so you will not be using. So you want to have, so that will become a list only. So you can do that.
yeah,
Also. Just keep that. Yeah, that will also.
yeah.
So now, you know, like when you create a two-dimensional array, now indexing happens two ways. There will be an indexing for rows and there will be indexing for column, right? So like this is row of column number 0, 1 and 2. This is row number 0, 1 and 2. So there is an indexing that is going to happen at two levels, rows and columns. Okay. So now if you come over here and you say array underscore 2D, this variable that I have created, if I write 0, 0 means first row, right? You get 1, 2, 3, right? If I say array underscore 2D and I say index number 1, it gives me second, right? So the format is something like you write array, the array that you have created. First you give the row number and then you give the column number. Or you can write it like this also, that array that you would have created, you give row comma column. This way or that way, you can use any one of them. So I'll just show you this. So for example, if I say, if I come over here and I see this array that we have created, array underscore 2D. Okay, and now if I say over here that inside this array, I want the value which is at row index 1, column index 2. What will be the number? That will number be 9. Oh, sorry, 6. 1 is this, not 2. So I get 6 over here. I have given row index is 1, column index is 2. If I say array underscore 2D, and now over here I say 1 comma 1, right? So row that should be 5, right? Right. So if you say 1 comma, now 1 comma means all the columns, right? So you get 4, 5, 6. Suppose if you want 258, you will say array underscore 2D. Now since you want all the rows, you keep it blank and the column index number is 1. Sorry, this will over here. But I'll try this. Okay, 258. So I have to write a colon over there just so that it doesn't it tag row number as empty. So you just write colon. Okay. I hope you are able to make this the slicing and indexing simple stuff. Okay. Now you can also, like in this what has happened right now is I was picking the numbers based on the indexing, right? I was picking the numbers based on the indexing, but you can pick up the numbers based on some conditions also. Like for example, and this is something that is called as selection. So we will talk about selection now. If I say array, I'm creating an array over here. Np dot arrange. Okay, let's create 1 to 11, some numbers over here so that I get numbers up to 10 now. So I get the numbers up till 10. I say 1 to 10. Okay, now what I'm trying to do over here is, suppose I want to pick up the numbers which are more than 5. So I can say greater than 5. Right? So now it generates the output in the form of true and false. Right? The number that are more than 5, they are coming as true, and the numbers which are less than 5, they are coming as false. Right? So when you say array greater than 5, it generates the output in the form of Boolean way. But if you want to see the numbers, you will say array which is greater than 5. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I hope I'm clear to you. I just, when you give just the condition, it's out of true false, and when you say you pass that inside this slicing part, so it's like what is happening now is it is just picking the index number of true and it's ignoring the index number of false. Okay, so this is where I think I'll stop for today, right? So tomorrow what we will be doing is, tomorrow we will be exploring how we can do some operations on the NumPy, right? So we will do that, and then so NumPy is a straightforward library just used with the indexing of the numbers. And then tomorrow itself, we are going to start off with the pandas as well, right? So we'll start with the pandas, which actually will be more useful and very exciting library, which will help us in where we will see how do we load the data and all the SQL commands that you have learned, right? So those SQL queries can also be used in the pandas. I mean, not the queries exactly, the same type of thing we will be doing in the pandas with the help of pandas. Okay, merging the data, joining the data, grouping the data, finding missing values. So that is where we are going to start with pandas tomorrow. Hello, you all can please, I'll also do one thing. I'll upload one exercise as well on the NumPy, and plus in the meantime, please attempt these questions if you get a time today, and we can discuss them tomorrow if you will have any questions or thoughts on that.
Amit, in the array greater than 5. So every time we need to make a selection, we'll just write the array name and then in the bracket again that array name and then the
Condition. Yeah, so like you want those numbers which are greater than 5. So it does not save the data, right? It is just showing you in the output. So if you say array and you want to see those numbers which are less than 5, so now it will give you the numbers which are less than 5.
So like this, we can pass any argument inside that and it will give the selection according to that in the array.
Sorry, can you come in?
So we can, like this, we can pass any selection. Like let's say inside we can write array equal to 7 or some, if it's name, a string, then.
You can put multiple conditions also, like you want to see the numbers which are more than 5 and less than equal to 8. So we can do that as well. You just have to pass that condition.
So the same name of the array and in the bracket also that's the name and then the condition.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
Okay. Okay then. See you tomorrow class. Thank you.